Monday, August 17th, and it's a special Monday because the new PFF college football subscription drops today with the incredible guide that Seth and Anthony, my guys here, put out. The most comprehensive college football preview guide on the market. Go check it out. Use promo code CFB25 for 25% off. You guys will not be disappointed. So with that in mind, let's talk a little college football here, fellas. Treash, and let's kick it off with this. Who is the surprise team to make the playoff this year in college football?
Yeah, I'm not saying this will happen, but I'm saying that we shouldn't be surprised if this does happen. And I'm going all in on the North Carolina Tar Heels and what Mack Brown's got cooking down there. Because last year, they almost upsetted Clemson last year. And Sam Howell in year two, I think he takes a big leap forward. Granted, he still had the second best season we've ever seen by a Power 5 true freshman quarterback and the fifth highest grade in college football passing from a clean pocket. He's a lights-out wide receiver duo in a 1-2 punch too, at running back too, in Javonte Williams and Michael Carter. And plus, they have a lot of rising stars on the defensive side of the ball. And plus, their schedule this year is very favorable. They close out the year with a little bit of a gauntlet with Notre Dame and Miami. But I think if they pull off one of those two victories and then upset Clemson in the national championship game, I think we're going to see Mack Brown dance in the locker room, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick, and I'm actually going to stay in the ACC and talk about Louisville because I think with the scheme that Scott Satterfield brought to the University of Louisville, to the Cardinals, it creates such easy throws for the quarterback. And with a quarterback like Mikael Cunningham, who was fantastic last year, with a receiving core that comes back that is fantastic, Tutu Atwell, our number one graded receiver coming back into college football this year. The outside zone scheme, the play action off of that, everything kind of fits to what they want to do. If you're going to make the college football playoff from the ACC, you have to have the quarterback, you have to have the passing game. Like North Carolina, Louisville has it. So I will say they are my dark horse team to make the playoff.
Well, you guys are both wrong because Notre Dame's going to win the ACC this year. But I'm going to go to the Big 12. I'm going to go with Texas. Yes, Texas is back. Sam Ehlinger is the big reason why here. He has improved by leaps and bounds every single year of his college career. This is going into year 4 now of him as a starter, and he has one of the best offensive lines in the country, pass protecting for him there with Sam Cosmi at left tackle, a likely first rounder next year. I just think what they have offensively with that talent in the Big 12, especially with a fairly weak Big 12, it's either probably them or Oklahoma at this point. So I'm going to go with Texas as being a dark horse team to make the playoff.
Man, Texas is back. Write it down on the record, Mike Renner. The hot take. All right, now on to the Heisman. We lost a lot of good Heisman candidates this year from the Big 10 and Pac-12. So, guys, there is a realistic chance that we might see a dark horse pull this thing and win off the award. So who is your dark horse for the Heisman this year?
I'm going to go off the books a little bit. I'm going to say Dillon Gabriel from Central Florida. And it has nothing really, and he's a good quarterback, but it really has more to do with the offense that he plays in. And he can put up really big numbers on that vertical, spread you out, one-on-one go routes down the field type of offense. And without a lot of, quarterbacks playing this year, all of a sudden, he puts up 500 more yards than the next highest guy. He puts up 1,000 more yards than the next highest guy, a bunch of touchdowns, doesn't throw picks. You look at the stats and maybe he didn't play that well, but the stats might show a different story and the voters might be influenced by that kind of the traditional box score stats. And that's why I kind of think, and I really just love watching Josh Heupel's offense. So I'm going to say Dillon Gabriel, very, 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 very dark horse candidate to win the Heisman.
I'm going to go with a similar sort of reasoning to Seth there. And I'm going to go with KJ Costello, the transfer from Stanford to Mississippi State. It's because of that offense. And I think it's easy to excuse, Mike Leach's offense when he was putting up big numbers in the Big 12, when he was putting up big numbers in the Pac-12 as a coach there. But if he does have his quarterback, which they always put up big numbers in Mike Leach's offense, doing it in the SEC, I think it's going to sit a little different in the minds of the voters. If they have a big year there at Mississippi State offensively, I think KJ Costello could sneak his way into that conversation.
Yeah, I agree with that. But, while this award might be a quarterback's award to win, I'm going to go with the running back here. And, this is a very dark horse candidate like Seth's here. But Kenneth Gainwell of Memphis, if you're going to win the award, if you're a running back, you got to be a dual threat. And he is a true definition of a dual threat guy. He was the only running back last year to produce grades above 85.0 as a runner and a receiver. And he was responsible for the second most gains of 15 or more yards, combining those two facets at 37 at the position last year. So I think he's going to put up monster numbers this year for Memphis, but I'm not sure if he's going to end up pulling off the award. But I think he should be in the conversation, will be in the conversation.
All right, all those guys are kind of, we'd put them in the group of like our guys, like we're kind of being hipster here and be like, these are our guys that people haven't really heard of that much. Who are the other guys in college football that maybe some people haven't heard of? Maybe they have heard of them. Maybe you just love them so much and you can't get them out of your head. Who are the guys? Who are your guys this year?
I'm going to go with the Surratt brothers. I want to be the third Surratt brother. I would love to be in this family. With the way they play football, obviously Chaz, the guy who was playing quarterback only a year and a half ago for North Carolina, switched to linebacker last year and was one of the most electric linebackers in college football. No fear in his game whatsoever. Now, he had a tackling problem, 27 missed tackles last year, hoping to get that cleaned up this year, but the way he plays football, I could watch all day. And then his brother, obviously the wide receiver for Wake Forest, one of the most physical wide receivers in the country, had a shoulder injury, went down towards the end of last year, but averaged over 100 yards a game when he was in the starting lineup. I'm looking for a big year from both those guys.
I'm going to have to go with the 310-pound monster on the Missouri Tigers, our defensive line, in Kobe Whiteside. This guy was absolutely just wreaked havoc on the interior for him. He played over half of his snaps, well over half of his snaps at nose tackle, and put up unreal production at the position. And we really need to start taking notice of what he did. I mean, last year he had the third best grade in a single season at nose tackle from an SEC interior defensive lineman. Only Jeffrey Simmons and Javon Kinlaw produced higher single season grades at the alignment. I mean, what he did was elite there at the position. And I think he's going to put up even another monster year this year. So if you haven't heard of his name, Kobe Whiteside, make sure to write it down because this guy is the real deal.
All right, I'm going with a quarterback, and please, if you're watching this, don't look at my tweets on this guy because I've changed my tune over the past year. My guy for the 2020 season is none other than Texas A&M quarterback Kellen Mond, who is now going into his 13th year in Jimbo Fisher's system. And why I like him is because he really does not play in an easy system for a young quarterback. You know, there's not a lot of RPOs, there's not a lot of screens, there's not a lot of stuff that kind of gives a floor to the offense. He's tasked with kind of completing a lot of pro-level concepts. And that's why the numbers haven't been so good, and that's why the consistency hasn't been that good. But I see it every time I watch him. I'm like, oh, I see him go through progressions. Oh, I see him do this. Oh, I see him do that. I think that there could be a breakout year for Kellen Mond. And again, you're going into your last year in a pro-style system. You have to get it by now. I think he will. I can't believe I'm saying it out loud. Kellen Mond is my favorite player in college football in 2020.
You want to get rid of me and get back to more great PFF YouTube content? All you have to do is push that button right there and subscribe. Thanks for watching.